Hello, DreamMakers. Welcome to lesson 3 of your dream extravaganza. All right, it has been such a pleasure and a complete blast to hear from you guys, what your questions are, how you're starting to apply some of the stuff around limiting beliefs, around just naming your dream, putting it out there in the world, starting to move toward it. It's been really great to see all of the shifts that have already started to happen, and you're in luck. This is probably my favorite lesson of the series because today we're going to get into the nitty-gritty. How the heck do you actually make an honest to goodness dream happen? So we've got lots to cover, but before we get to today's content, I want to answer a couple of questions because I saw them come through on a number of different platforms, the same theme. So I want to make sure to address them. So let me read the question. This one I loved because this was so me, and this may resonate for a lot of you. You just don't understand my limiting beliefs are when they are true. I am right there with you. For a long, long time, I didn't see a distinction between me and my beliefs. I thought that they were one and the same. And if I am my beliefs, then absolutely they're true. So I totally get where you're coming from. And yet, I would invite you to get really curious. Right? Go back through, I shared the work with you in the last lesson. Go back through that and apply it. There are some beliefs that are true, right? There are some beliefs that are true. I am a woman. That is true. Physically, genetically, I am female. And even in that, something that is absolutely true, there's still wiggle room, right? Because I am a woman, that depends how you define what it means to be a woman, right? So I've got the parts, but am I behaving like a child? Do I behave more like a girl? Or do I behave like an adult woman? That might be one area that there's some wiggle room. And there's something else around, and I'm just using this as an example, but there's even more around, yes, woman is a label that I would assign to myself, and I'm so much more, right? I am a spiritual being living a human life. I am connected to my God. I am connected to the universe. I am connected to each and every one of you. Because as you make your dreams happen, my world gets brighter. I have role models and courage, and I'm encouraged to go for it, to keep dreaming big, to make a million dreams happen globally. Let's shake things up and make this world a better place and have some fun in the process, right? So even something that on the surface seems absolutely, unquestionably true, no arguing with it or about it, I am a woman. In just a minute, I was able to unpack lots of different ways of, well, is that really true? So I would invite you, I know it can be really hard because what you're stretching yourself to do is see your blind spots, right? Because as you approach this work, as you approach pursuing your dream, and you're reevaluating your beliefs, at first, it can be a little difficult to separate and put some distance between you and the things that you tell yourself, right? So I completely understand, honestly, your limiting beliefs feeling real because your brain doesn't know the difference between an event that actually happened and an event that you imagine, which is why if you have a nightmare, you wake up and your heart's racing, maybe you're breathing heavy, maybe you're sweaty, because your brain, your body can't distinguish what it thinks from the real world. So if you're thinking, I can't do it, I completely understand how that feels true for you. And that's why it limits you, because you believe it to be true, right? Last time I talked about the elephant. And as a baby, legitimately couldn't break the chain, couldn't get out of the shackles. As an adult, absolutely had the power to get out of the shackles, but didn't know it. So this work, I get that it can be confronting. Keep doing it anyway. Just be curious. Just be curious. Is this true? Or is there something else that may be true or feel even more true that serves me better? Because you make up what you think. Most of us, right? Most of our beliefs happened the way we relate to the world, engage with the world. Most of those beliefs we developed when we were little, 4, 5, 6. You quickly determine, is this world safe? Is this world unsafe? Can I trust people? Can I not trust people? Am I good enough? Am I worthy? Right? We make all of those decisions when we're little based on the circumstances of our environment, based on where we live, the family we grew up in, things that happened to us as a child. And fast forward 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, we're still living our life and what we can and cannot accomplish, what we believe to be true about ourselves, based on what we thought 50 years ago. You've had so much more growth, so much more development. You're stronger, you're smarter, you're more resourceful, you're wiser. So I totally get that it feels very true, and it can be scary. So the fact that you're even pursuing it and are willing to consider and get curious about your beliefs, and are they true? Is this true? Is this not true? Who am I when I have this thought, when I believe this about myself? Who would I be if I didn't believe this? Right? As you work through that, it takes great bravery, great courage. It can be really scary at first. So I applaud you for pursuing it, because I'm telling you, it's a complete game changer, and you will see all sorts of areas of your life open up as you go, wait a minute, maybe I can do it. Maybe dreams do happen. Maybe this is what I'm meant to do. Maybe I do have the resources. I am strong enough. I am capable enough. I deserve to live my dream. I'm dedicating my dream to my grandmother who couldn't do it, to my daughter who will watch me and have her world expanded in a way that I didn't experience as a kid, right? It's just so exciting, really juicy. So thank you for your question. I know it can be scary, and yet do it anyway. The other question that I wanted to talk about a little bit more, that sort of came up in a couple of different places, was I'm already tired and stressed out. Hallelujah, I totally get that. Can I find the time and support to make my dream happen? Awesome question. And again, there are real and there are imagined limitations. There are real and there are imagined problems. There are real and imagined obstacles that you have to deal with. And I would say feeling exhausted and stressed out, those are real problems to address. And in fact, in Dream Camp, we dedicate an entire week to cultivating a practice of great self-care, because we don't do that. As a country, as a world, there is something, particularly in the United States, there is something that has become very, I don't want to say macho, but it's like a badge of honor. If you can get through a week averaging 4 hours of sleep a night, like if you can do that and you don't crash and you're still able to function at work and take care of your kids and, cook dinner without burning it, or who are we kidding? If you're getting 4 hours of sleep, you're ordering dinner, you're not cooking. If you can survive those circumstances, then there's something, it's like bragging rights. So exhaustion, being busy are two things that I completely understand, because I spent the first half of my adult life and most of my teenage years being really, really busy. Crazy, ridiculous, like the number of clubs, the number of academic achievement, like the stuff that I was pursuing was sort of ridiculous. And so I was just running. I was already tired, felt very stressed out. And what I want to invite you through this masterclass and through Dream Camp is, okay, what is important and what is urgent? What are things that are actually important to you, and what are things that are not important to you? So you can start to look at, how are you spending your time? And is there a payoff for you constantly being busy and stressed out, right? Because for a lot of us, it's a badge of honor. I am so busy. I must be important. We put these two together when in fact, you're important because you're here. You're important because you live and breathe and take up space. You're put here this time, this place, for a specific purpose. You don't have to be constantly busy and traveling and having all of these conference calls and people you have to get, right? Like that doesn't make you valuable. You are inherently valuable because you're you. And so as you start to uncouple being important from being busy, then you can start to, like we were talking about with the last question about beliefs, you can start to sort of put some space between you and your busyness and decide how much of your busyness is truly necessary. Because a lot of us aren't very good with setting boundaries and saying no in a loving, kind way, but still saying, no, I can't do that for you today because I need to get 8 hours of sleep. So I'm not baking homemade cupcakes for the school fair. I'm going to sleep because that is more important for my well-being and frankly for my children's and family's well-being and my work environment, that I'm not sleep deprived, that I'm not stressed out. So there is definitely something to be said about looking and evaluating how you're choosing to spend your time, because you're making the choice. You always have a choice. I know sometimes it doesn't feel like it because it's scary to say no. When you're first building, it's part of building your dream maker muscle. So when you're first building that muscle, it can be like, oh, that was too hard. Saying no to my kid, disappointing him or her by bringing store-bought cookies or forgetting and not bringing cookies at all, right? Like that was a really hard one. So maybe you don't start there. Maybe you start with other things that are obviously stressing you out and not giving you a return on the time and energy that you're investing. I completely understand being tired, stressed out. That's actually, like I said, part of the Dream Camp course is working through all of that, because that's really critical. You are essential to your dream. Without you, your dream's not possible. You are essential to your life. This is it. Like this is, as far as I know, this is the only life we get for sure. So you need to be present to it. You need to enjoy it because this might be the only one you get. I want to honor the fact that you asked the question. I want to honor the fact that, again, you're starting to open yourself to the possibility that life could be a different way. You could be Vacation Arwen in your everyday life. And it starts with getting enough sleep, and it starts with evaluating and making conscious decisions about how you choose to invest your time. And really, everything is an invitation. Everything is an opportunity. There are very few things that I can think of that you must do. And really, the only one I can think of is at some point you will die. Everything else are choices you make. Whether you choose to pay your taxes, there are consequences to your choices. Don't pay your taxes, the IRS is going to audit you and eventually you'll go to jail or have crazy fees. But even, right, like it used to be the only two certainties are death and taxes. Now I kind of question the taxes part. So everything is an invitation, and it's a matter of starting to value yourself in a way that today you aren't. Because to live your dream, to make an honest to goodness dream come true, you need to create the time to do that. And as you start to look at your life, like for me, I realized, wow, I am working all of these extra hours that I don't necessarily have to. I just liked having like my inbox empty, my desk cleared. Like that for me was like I felt accomplished when I did that. And so that is how I wouldn't leave the day. I wouldn't leave the office until that was done. And then I started to realize, hey, wait a minute. Either I could have an empty desk or I could get in a workout. Well, actually, going to the gym and getting a good workout in, I feel much better, much more satisfied than the extra 2 hours I spent at the office. So I started to shift. I started to change how I invested my time. I started to make different decisions that I got at least as good a return, usually way better. But it all started with me cultivating this awareness of, wait a minute, why am I stressed out? How am I choosing to invest my energy? Is this something worth me getting stressed out about? Like, is this something that really matters to me? Or have I just gotten caught up in the drama and I'm so used to when somebody says jump, I just automatically, okay, how high? Where am I going? What? Instead of, thank you for the invitation to jump. And no. So, great questions. Keep them coming in. I love how you guys are approaching this work, how you're thinking about your dream and really looking at your life. This is an opportunity to really get quiet and listen to the whisper of your heart, the wish that your heart has made. How do I make this dream happen? Is this something that I want to pursue? Right? Those are good, meaty questions. Those are important questions to answer because through that process, you start to light up in a way as you start to make different decisions and pursue and create the life of your dreams. You start to light up in a way that you may not be lit up today. And you start to shine that light on everyone in your world, your tribe, both the people you love and the people who are sort of on the periphery watching, going, hey, Arwen's different. I wonder what she got going on. She just seems really more centered, more lit up, and she doesn't seem exhausted and stressed. How is she doing that? I want more of that, right? That's the beauty of pursuing your dream. You start to align your time and how you invest your resources with your priorities and what truly matters to you. Okay, so today we are going to get into the nitty-gritty. I'm going to walk through the DreamMakers Make It Happen methodology. It's the complete blueprint of how you make an honest to goodness dream happen. We're going to walk through it in detail. I've got a download for you so you can fill in the blanks and track how you make a dream come true. And I'll probably do some split between me doing video and screenshots so that you can see some of the steps. But it's really exciting. This is a proven methodology that I've cultivated and refined over 20 plus years of working with clients to help them accomplish big, audacious goals, dreams, wishes, goals with soul. So having a tried and true proven approach or process to make your dream happen is going to save you a ton of time and energy and frustration of all the fits and starts and how do I do this, and you get stuck and then you have to backtrack, and right, I've done this with other clients, I've used it myself. It absolutely works. So before we get into that, I just want to give you a reminder, beginner's mind. As we go through today's lesson, continue to ask yourself, how can I use this information? How can this help me make my dream come true? Turn off all of the distractions so you really can focus, because we're going to get into some really juicy content that I think you're going to want to really be fully present and attending to the information, because this can really help you quickly get into a different mode of operating. We talked last time about when you're pursuing your dream, you're just operating at a different level. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. So let's quickly review, what have we already covered? In video 1, we talked about how you can start making your dream happen right now, today, with the resources that you have. Then in video 2, we talked about the first thing you need to do in order to get into action quickly. How to overcome that inertia and start actively making your dream happen today. Video 1, it's possible. Video 2, how do I get started? If you haven't seen those videos, I strongly encourage you to go back, watch the replay. We've got them all saved for you so that you can get up to speed, because now we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how you make your dream come true. 79.3, 83, 8. These are 3 numbers that tell a powerful story. So the World Health Organization estimates that whether you are male or female, the average life expectancy for an adult in America today is 79.3. So you know how old you are. You do the math. How many more years do you have walking this planet? How many more years do you have to pursue your dream? AARP did a study asking about dreams. They asked people about the goals that they were pursuing. And of all of the people who were asked, 83% either didn't have a goal that they were pursuing, a dream that they were making happen, or they were just at the very beginning getting started making that dream come true. The University of Scranton did a study looking at people who pursue dreams and people who accomplish those dreams. And they found that of the people who pursue New Year's resolutions, goals with soul, big audacious goals, dreams, that of the people who pursue those, only 8% actually accomplish the dream that they set out pursuing. When you take that information together, it's kind of a dismal, if you keep doing what everybody else is doing, your prognosis isn't good, right? I'm 45. I've got 35 years left, according to the World Health Organization. So if I'm not actively pursuing a dream, then I have to, the 83% who are just starting or don't have a dream, right? That's a lot of time that I might squander. And 35 years is going to go in a flash. And then you add to it, if I continue to do what I've always done, what I've seen other people do, then there's a 92% failure rate. That's a high probability that I won't make my dream happen. So it's really important that you find, whether it's through this Dream Extravaganza and Dream Camp or whatever works for you and whatever feels right to you, I urge you to get in the game. We've only got this one life, and if you don't find a process, a proven methodology to make your dream happen, there's a good chance that you're going to have fits and starts and squander precious time and energy, or you're just never going to get off the couch and do it. And there are huge repercussions. We talked about them last time. So a few years ago, a palliative care nurse in Australia wrote a book about the top 5 things that her patients regretted most, right? These are people in hospice, on their deathbed. They know that their time is up. And she started asking them questions. What are your regrets? What is the one thing that you wish people would learn from your experience? So according to this palliative care nurse, the number one regret that she heard over and over again were her patients saying, I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Sound familiar? She goes on, this was the most common regret of all. When people realize that their life is almost over and look back clearly on it, it is easy to see how many dreams have gone unfulfilled. Most people had not honored even a half of their dreams and had to die knowing that it was due to choices they had made or not made. Health brings a freedom very few realize until they no longer have it. When I read that, powerful, powerful words. Living a life that someone else expects of you versus the life that's true to yourself. Being able to look back on all of the choices you made, or when you get stuck, not making a decision is a decision. So when I saw that, it really resonated with me because it was exactly the St. Andrew's Band of Brothers story that I told you about. My father's regret that he'll never be able to take my grandfather to play the course at St. Andrew's. Hugely powerful. What if you could simply decide to pursue your dream or not? A clear yes or a clear no. Either answer, perfectly acceptable, but make a decision. Let your life be a reflection of the choices you made, not the ones you just sort of skirted and let go by you. Let your yeses be resounding yeses and your noes be resounding noes. What if you could decide to pursue your dream and simply stop that someday mentality? What if you could stop all the waiting and worrying? Maybe someday when the kids are off to college and I've gotten that promotion or I've retired, maybe someday it'll still happen, right? That angel that's been sitting on your shoulder going, you've got to write this book. You've got to start this business. We got to go to the top of Machu Picchu while our knees will still let us. We got to do this. We talked before in the last class about the frustration and the angst of the push, pull, this longing, this desire that you're denying yourself. But it's still there in the back of your mind, haunting you, right? So you don't get peace either way. You're stuck in this limbo. What if you could get out of that and decide today, yes, I'm pursuing this dream, or no, I'm done? Just think about how much freedom, how that would open you up, and now you would have energy because you're not being nagged all the time about this thing, right? You are now pursuing your heart's desire. And in the pursuit, there's an incredible amount of satisfaction and energy and purpose that takes a lot of the stress away because now you are aligning yourself with your heart's desire. You are aligning yourself with your priorities. Small action, huge impact. Probably the biggest bang for the buck you could do. Decide, plan, act. Those are the fundamentals of the DreamMakers Make It Happen methodology. You must consciously, deliberately choose, decide. Are you pursuing this dream or not? And if you're not, you're really letting it go. Not a maybe someday you'll do it, but no, I am deciding I do not want to write this book. There's strength connecting to your power. Saying no, giving yourself permission to say no is just as important, just as compelling as giving yourself permission to say, yes, I am writing this book. It gets you out of that limbo and into action, whatever you decide. Once you've made your decision to pursue this dream, then you start planning. You get organized, right? Very few people would go after something big and audacious without a game plan. So decide, plan, act. Once you've decided, yes, I am pursuing this dream. I've put together my plan. Then you implement the plan. You take action. You get off of the sofa into the arena. You're making things happen. And there will be so much freedom and power. And you will come to remember the strengths, the gifts, the tenacity, the grit, determination that you have always had, but you've never really used. Not for something as important to you as making your dream come true. So I want to share a story about Stella. Stella was our first dreamer, and she had an incredibly creative, just joyful dream. She had this story. Her day job, she worked at a daycare center. And so over the course of a decade, she told this story about Adam and the bull shark. Kids of all different ages, and she would tweak it and refine it, but everybody loved this story. And her dream was to turn it into a children's musical, and then to have a summer camp where the kids would come, and over the course of the summer camp, they would put together the sets and, the costumes, and they would put it together, and at the end of the summer camp, they would put on this children's musical. It was a dream she'd had for over a decade. And, she would keep pulling it out, and she would tell the story, and then she would tweak it, and she would get excited, but she didn't really know how to get started. She didn't really know what to do. And so I had put out a call. We were doing a pilot for this DreamMakers methodology, and she was one of the dreams that was selected. And so over a course of, I think it was probably like 3 or 4 months, we worked with her, and in the course of that time, she wrote the screenplay, which was the biggest thing she'd ever written. It was over 100 pages long. She wrote the screenplay. We connected her with a children's theater troupe that had all of the costumes and props and things that she would ever need. So she had an alliance, and we found her a venue to put on the children's musical. So fast forward, she put on the children's camp. She put together a soundtrack. So you could buy the Adam and the Bull Shark soundtrack, and there were t-shirts, and it was just such a wonderful experience for her. And it was because she decided, all right, I'm going to do this. I've got someone who is willing to help me and hold my hand through the process, right? That's the whole purpose of DreamMakers, to hold your hand through the process of making your dream happen. And then we walked through this methodology. And in that process, it was amazing to see how lit up she became. She had a confidence that she hadn't had before. And she started to see all of the resources that were available to her, and how when she put her dream out there, the universe responded. She got into a zim-zum with the universe, and they were putting the right people, the right resources in her path. But she had to say yes. She had to take advantage of those opportunities. Right? She still had to take the action, but now that she was open and willing to see and realized that what was crazy was not pursuing your dream, not using her gifts and talents in the way that she was intended to, right? That a lot of people think it's crazy to pursue a dream, and dreams don't happen, and that's ridiculous, and that's childish bedtime story stuff. No. What's crazy is that you have all of these gifts, you have this incredible idea that won't go away, and you continue to ignore it rather than actively pursuing it and seeing what happens, right? So she did it. If Stella can do it, you can do it. And I think the experience is extraordinary. It's so wonderful just imagining a world with people who are lit up because they know they can make their dreams come true, because they've done it. We've talked about the impact of waiting, right? You're stuck in this always reactive, tail wagging the dog, stressed out, exhausted, unfulfilled, or only fulfilled in little, your 2-week vacation. You take a long weekend and, okay, yes, I remember the life I want to lead, but it's not the life that I'm leading every day. Waiting reinforces your limiting beliefs. The longer you wait for someday maybe it to happen, the more it reinforces dreams don't come true. I can't do this. I can't make a difference. One person doesn't matter. You matter. You are the star in the story of your life. Like, you're it. You are the most important person in your life. And I know when I say that, that may be triggering because you feel like you have to sacrifice for your children and your spouse. But if you don't put on your own oxygen mask first, you won't be around to love and support and give. You can't give what you don't have. So waiting has huge impact on you, your physical health, your mental health, your emotional health. I say your spiritual health too, because to me, dreams are an expression of your sacred soul. They're holy, whatever that dream might be. So last time I shared the story of Dwight, who is the author that when he came to work with me, he had originally thought that he couldn't write a book because he would have to have 2 years' salary. He didn't have the money. He didn't have the time. He was an IT professional. He had 2 little kids and a beautiful wife, and there was just no way that he could ever write a book. And then, as we started talking about it, just over one simple lunch, flipped the switch, and he started to see, no, that's not the only way I could write my book, right? He started to sift through what are all of the imagined problems and obstacles that I've created for myself, and what are the true obstacles. Like, the book doesn't get written if I don't sit down and write it. That is, you have to make the time. You have to create the time to sit down and write the book. It's not going to write itself. Right? And once he'd shifted from trying to figure out how to save 2 years' salary to, oh, the real problem is I have to figure out when and how to sit down and write the book. Then he figured it out. Fast forward 2 years later, he'd written his first masterpiece and was actively pursuing the second story. But he had written the book, which he'd been sitting on for 10 years. It can be done. You can do it. If Dwight can do it, if Stella can do it, heck, if I can do it, then you absolutely can make your dream happen. But the big shift for Dwight was having an understanding and appreciation and looking at his resources with new eyes. And in Dream Camp, we've got 2 bonuses, money, 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 and time is relative, that we explore both of those, right? Because for Dwight, his issue, he thought, was he didn't have time and he didn't have money. And as we worked through it, actually, he had plenty of time, right? He had banked a crazy amount of vacation days that he never took. And the money to write the story was far less. It was not, hundreds of thousands of dollars, years worth of salary to be able to write the book. So we spend a whole week in Dream Camp going through, well, what are the resources? Because you need to really see your resources with fresh eyes, right? When I met Stella, some of the people in her life had been saying, hey, this theater camp that you want to put on, I know about this great children's theater company that I bet they would love to partner with you and help you make this happen, right? So for a couple of years, people had been trying to push her in the direction of, hey, this is a resource you could tap into. But it wasn't until DreamMakers came and said, oh, you want to put on a children's musical? I think that's fantastic. Let's do it. That she had someone standing beside her, namely me. Let's do it together. I want you to have your dream. I want you to make it happen. I'll make the phone call. Right? That there was something, so the universe had been trying to help her make her dream come true, but it wasn't until she could see with new eyes. I mean, going, well, these guys look great. They've got a great reputation. Why don't we take a meeting? This place looks like it would be perfect venue. Let's go talk to, right? It wasn't until she made the decision, yes, I'm going to do this. And we put together a plan. And then we implemented it, that things started to happen for her. Decide, plan, act. So how do you make your dream happen? We've already talked a lot in the last 2 lessons about the foundation. The first is you have to enter a world of possibility. You have to believe that it's possible, right? For a long time, there was work Arwen and vacation Arwen, and never the two to meet. It wasn't until I had the aha of, wait, I could be vacation Arwen in my everyday life? Holy shut the front door. So, first lesson, we talked through that this is even possible. And once you open yourself up to a world of possibility where people actually make honest to goodness dreams happen, hugely powerful. So, but knowing that the world exists isn't enough. You then have to give yourself permission to make the dream happen. You have to give yourself permission to dream. I want to write a book. I want to put on a children's musical. I want to run a triathlon. You have to allow yourself to desire, because a lot of times the things that are most important to us, heart longings, we don't allow ourselves to want, because we think that if we don't want, then we keep ourselves safe. We keep ourselves safe from being rejected, disappointed, when in fact, we really just sort of keep ourselves in limbo because we still want it. We're just denying the fact that we want it. So then you name it to claim it. My dream is to make 1 million dreams happen globally. My dream is to travel the world. My dream is to become debt-free. My dream is to send my children to college. Whatever your dream is, right? You have to put it out there. Yes. You want to be able to have a clear, yes, this is my dream. And then once you've done all of those things, then you start working through what are the obstacles that I've created and what are the true problems that I just need to work the problem, right? It's the Gandhi quote. Your thoughts become your beliefs become your actions become your habits become your character becomes your destiny. So you have to start to look at what are the things that I tell myself, true or untrue, right? Like what is the soundtrack that's constantly playing in the back of my mind? And if that soundtrack isn't serving you or no longer serves you, if it's a soundtrack of you can't do it, you don't deserve to make a dream happen. Wishes only come true for kids who are sick or dying. Dreams don't come true for people like you. If that's what you've been telling yourself, you can change that in an instant. You can start telling yourself and starting to believe something new, creating new habits, new action, new character, a new destiny. You have the power. You are creating your destiny every moment of every day with every decision, which at first seems, holy criminy, that's a lot of pressure. That's scary. Why am I responsible? What? This is my fault? I did this to myself? Right? Like that was my immediate, whoa. I don't have a significant other and it's my own fault? Damn. And then it was, wait, if I created this, then I can create something different. I'm responsible for my life. I create my life. Huge shift, hugely powerful, and it can happen in an instant. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to make a dream come true. Now, this is going to be a different skill set potentially. I think if you're holding down a job or taking care of kids, like if you've been out in the real world, you probably have a lot of these skills already. But it's a marriage between the aspirational, right? The dream, I want to go after something big and audacious and I don't know if it's possible, but I'm going to believe that it's possible. And let's go, right? So it's bringing that aspiration and marrying it with, here's the everyday, I know how to solve problems. I know how to make the paycheck stretch for the month. I know how to solve big, nasty problems. When the car breaks down, I know what to do. When the kids are having trouble in school, I know how to fix that, right? Like you've cultivated this ability to be creative and solve problems your entire life. But it's bringing the two together. It's the aspiration and the action together that are so powerful. The last thing I'll say, and then we'll start to get into, and I'll switch so that you can see the step by step. But the last thing I want to say about this whole methodology, the make it happen process, is where your focus goes, your energy flows. So if you're focused on how can this work for me? How can I apply it? How do I know this to be true? That will be the focus. That's where your energy will go, figuring out, because your brain is a computer and it will work to solve whatever problem you put before it. So if the problem you put before it is, how do I make my dream come true? How do I apply this methodology? Then that's what your brain's going to start focusing on. But if you tell yourself, this doesn't work, this can't work, then your brain, that same computer, will start to look at ways to solve the problem of how this won't work. Where are the weaknesses? Why is my dream something that can't come true? So where your focus goes, your energy flows. Let's walk through. It's 5 steps, very simple, pretty straightforward. Some of it may feel very intuitive, like, of course, that's what you would do, right? But you haven't done it yet, so this is worth paying attention. For the Make It Happen methodology, first, you clarify the dreamy details. So what are all the pieces and parts of your dream? Once you've clarified the dreamy details, then why haven't you done it already? So you have to remove the obstacles that have kept you from pursuing your dream, i.e. all of those limiting beliefs that you've been telling yourself. You've been focused on all of the reasons why you can't make it happen, and that's where all of your energy went, to proving you right. You're absolutely right. You can't make your dream come true. Those are the obstacles that we have to remove. Step 3, plan the work and then work the plan. So you need to have a structure, like what are the steps? What are the things that I need to do? Come up with, here are the list of actions that I need to take every day, week in, week out, until my dream is achieved. Every day I have to sit down for at least 20 minutes and write until the book is written, right? That simple. Simple, but not necessarily easy, because this is a new pattern of behavior. These are new habits that you're cultivating. And so it can be hard at first, right? Because you're shifting how you see the world, how you see yourself. You're cultivating new habits, and new habits can take at least 21 days. Some people say 60 days for the neural pathways in your brain to reform around, I am an author. I am a dream maker. I make dreams happen. I am a business owner. I travel the world. I am debt free. Whatever your dream might be, creating new neural pathways, you're stretching yourself. So having action that you can take day in, day out until your dream is fulfilled is key. So once you've clarified the dreamy details, you've removed the obstacles, you've planned the work and worked the plan. Step 4 in the process is inventorying your resources. So you know the plan, what are the resources that you're going to need to fulfill that plan? So one of my dreams is I want to be Ella Fitzgerald for a night. I want to stand on stage in a great dress and sing from the Ella Fitzgerald catalog. So to do that, I put together my plan. I'm going to need a vocal coach to teach me the songs. I'm going to need a great dress. I'm going to need a stage. I'm going to need a band to back me up. I'm going to need an audience to clap wildly, whether I sound great or not, right? So you start to inventory. All right, so here are the things that I need to, here are the resources that I need to make my dream happen. Which of the ones do I have? Which of these do I have? Or do I know someone? Maybe I know someone who owns a bar that they would let me, for 3 songs, 15 minutes, hop on stage one evening. But inventorying your resources, what do you have? What do you need? And then you start to work the problem. How do you close the gap between what you have and what you need so that you can make your dream come true? And then the last step is getting it done even when it gets hard. Because you'll have your plan, you've thought you removed the obstacles, you've got your inventory of resources, and then as you get into it, life will happen. And some of those limiting beliefs that you thought you'd gotten rid of pop back up. Because, see, the bar's closed on Tuesday. They won't let us in. All right, see, dreams don't happen. No, that's just a problem. Time to work the problem. Even when it gets hard, even when all of the stuff comes up that you thought you'd wrestled with and put to bed, until you've lived the dream, those beliefs may come back. Or honest to goodness problems may happen. I get laryngitis the week that I'm supposed to perform. Then what do? Work the problem. Right, so those are the 5 steps at a high level. I'm now going to shift and walk through them in a little more detail. I do have a download that I will make available, but let's just walk through step by step and get in and unpack these 5 steps, because that's the whole process. Clarify the dreamy details, remove the obstacles, plan the work, and then work the plan. Inventory your resources, and get it done even when it gets hard. Simple, right? Hugely powerful, though. As you start to implement this methodology, crazy powerful. And what's beautiful about the methodology is I have seen it work for all sorts of dreams. Different people, different backgrounds, different walks of life, wildly different dreams, whether it's writing a book, children's musical, a physical challenge, a radical shift in your belief system. Same process works. Phenomenal. All right, I'm going to shift gears and we're going to walk through the rest of these steps in detail.
Step 1. Clarify the dreamy details. Before you can begin making your dream happen, you need to know exactly what you want. For those of you who took on the overachiever assignment, you started capturing your dream details. Usually, this is the easiest step because you have spent months, if not years, thinking about your dream. Whether it's a business idea, a dream book, or a work of art you want to create. In this step, you work through a series of activities and tools to refine the dream, what it looks like, feels like, and how you'll feel when it happens. You work through why this is important to you, the impact you want to have on your own life, your community, maybe even the world, and why. As you make the larger connections, you're more motivated to see it through. Step 1 is also where you work through a series of questions to gauge the strength of your dream, and, if necessary, how you can make it even stronger. By the end of step 1, you are able to clearly articulate what your dream is. So you know the target you're aiming for and can share it with others to enroll them in helping you accomplish it. Step 2, remove the obstacles keeping you from your dream. Once you know the specific details of the dream, it's important to look at the reasons you haven't already made it happen. After all, you spent a lot of time thinking about your dream. It begs the question, what's kept you from achieving it? While there are legitimate obstacles that keep people from making their dream happen, like your dream is to climb Machu Picchu, but you're 7 months pregnant, most of those obstacles are temporary, or they are tied to your disguise. In step 2, you identify your blind spots so that you can be kind to yourself when they show up. As you build an awareness of your limiting beliefs, you develop strategies to address them so that you can move forward despite them, or better yet, make them disappear altogether. You implement your limiting belief strategies each time the limiting belief comes up until you are no longer held captive to them. With practice and consistency, you will become an expert at removing the obstacles that have kept you from going for it. Step 3, plan the work and work the plan. Okay, this is where the rubber meets the road. We're going to spend some time here because it's planning the work where most people trip up. Maybe you see a few of the pieces you'll need to make the dream happen, but it can be hard to see the big picture and all of the moving parts. It can be overwhelming. I know, I've experienced it myself, but this is where DreamMakers is significantly different from all the other programs out there. I've infused the DreamMakers Make It Happen methodology with my 20+ years of experience managing multi-million-dollar programs for Fortune 100 companies. My first dream was to make a quilt. I'm not a particularly crafty person, and I certainly didn't know anything about sewing a quilt when I started this dream. It took 6 months to do, partly because I was building my dreammaker muscle, but mostly because I didn't have a plan when I started. For example, I went out and bought a bunch of beautiful fabric. I spent a lot of money. It wasn't until they were all laid out on my bed that it struck me that I had no idea how to make a quilt. It was overwhelming. I chose to persevere, but some people just give up instead. I went to the library to do research. This was before YouTube, and I found classes at this huge quilting festival that I discovered happens in my town each year. I did things completely backwards. I found out that I'd picked some of the hardest fabrics to work with. Genius me. I made a lot of mistakes that cost me time and money, hence the 6 months. Fast forward to my 15th dream, going on a Kenyan safari. By this time, I'd been building my dreammaker muscle for over a decade, and I had the Make It Happen methodology to guide me. So I started with a plan. From the moment I said aloud, I want to go on a Kenyan safari, to putting everything together, including finding an orphanage where I could volunteer, collecting over 150 pounds of books for the orphanage's library, working with a toy company to get them to donate $3,000 worth of puppets for the orphanage's school, finding a cosmetics company to donate 100 lipsticks for the girls, as well as organizing my safari itinerary, flights, excursions, and lodging, took less than 10 days. It was 4 months before I actually set foot in the Nairobi airport, but only because there were so many flippin' shots that I had to get before I could go. Otherwise, I could have been living my dream in less than 2 weeks. 6 months to 10 days. That's a huge improvement, and you can experience it too. To finish out step 3, once you've broken down the dream into its essential tasks, you identify your dream's critical path. You make and block the needed time to implement your dream plan on your calendar. You put the tasks on your calendar so that you can execute your roadmap and can easily track your progress. Then you start working your plan, adjusting as you need to along the way. It's an art, it takes practice, but with patience, persistence, and a little help, you too can become a superstar dream maker, seeing the big picture and all of the moving parts. Step 4, inventory your resources and make your shopping list. What is it going to take to make your dream happen? What are the specific skills, resources, contacts, knowledge that you need? In this step, you look at what you really have available to make your dream happen and what you're missing. Many people overlook how much they bring to the table. You are much smarter, more resourceful, and capable than you give yourself credit for. Step 4 is where you take inventory. You put together your dream shopping list, and then you gather those needed supplies. This is also where you spend some time evaluating your support system. Going for something big and audacious takes courage. It's a hero's journey. So you want to make sure that you've made the most important people in your life, your inner circle, aware of what you're doing. And you want to make sure you've identified who's going to be there to pick you up and give you a hug when you stumble, or give you a kick in the pants when you're procrastinating. Step 4 is all about asking for and receiving the help you need, which for most of us is something we avoid like the plague. I'll tell you though, being allowed to help someone, especially someone you love, accomplish a life's dream, that is a sacred honor. There is nothing better than to be allowed to make a meaningful impact in someone's life. It's what you secretly hope you can do before you meet that palliative care nurse. By the end of step 4, you assess your needs, complete your inventory, and implement strategies to address any gaps. Step 5, get it done even when things get hard. The final step is to have your contingency plan ready so that you can expect the unexpected. In this step, you identify the traps you're most likely to get caught in and set up the structures needed so that you can avoid them and maintain momentum toward your dream. Life will happen. Obstacles will appear. The key is to know what to do when life happens and threatens to knock you off your plan. Okay, so that's it.
Dreams don't happen in a mysterious black box. It's not me just waving a magic wand and poof! You've got your beautiful dress, you've got the carriage, you're off to the dance. Dreams happen when you decide that you're going to make your dream happen, and then you use a proven methodology and structures to help guide you and put in place the key elements of achieving your dream. And then you act on those plans. You implement the plan and you make it happen. The beauty of the DreamMakers Make It Happen methodology is that it's a proven structure that you can implement over and over and over again. Once you've made your first dream come true, then you'll be faster making the second and the third and the fourth. You'll get better at it. You'll build that dream maker muscle so that you can make your dream happen anytime, anywhere. It's just a matter of deciding, planning, and acting. And then things can get really cool because now you've made plenty of your own dreams happen. Let's make a loved one's dream happen. What if I helped my child? What if I helped my kid? The two of us together, we made her dream come true. Or my spouse. What if the two of us decided our dream was to be financially independent? And so we get ourselves out of debt. What if that was a dream that the two of you worked on together? Right? You're a hero and you've gone on the hero's journey of accomplishing your own personal dream. And now you're bringing back the wisdom that you've learned, the lessons, the scars. You're bringing that back to your tribe and giving them the wisdom so now they can go make their dreams come true. Right? You're turning on a light, lighting everybody up, giving them permission to go after their own heart's desire. And not only giving them permission to desire, but showing them the way to actually make it come true. So once you've made your own dream happen, and now you've made your loved ones' dreams happen, or you've empowered them and given them the process to do it, now you can start making strangers' dreams happen. And then it gets really cool, because to have bragging rights of, yes, me, Arwen, I literally made a stranger's dream come true, not because I wrote a check, but me, my specific skills, the things I know, the journey and the lessons that I have learned, me, I was needed. And I just did this. I flipped a switch for a complete stranger and made a huge, meaningful, positive impact in a complete stranger's life because of the things that I know. Right? We all want to be seen. We all want to be valued. Sky is the limit. Once you get this process, sky's the limit on what you can accomplish. It will radically make your life way more fun, crazy, wild, wonderful adventures. I cannot wait to hear what you guys have to say about this. And I can't wait to see you guys start to implement this because it's game changer. Complete life hack game changer. But the key is you have to decide. So you have a decision to make. We've just spent an hour together, a little more than an hour, going through this methodology. Now what are you going to do about it? The choice is yours. St. Andrew's, Band of Brothers. Wait, maybe someday. Get off the couch, get into the arena, start making it happen today. 79.3, 83, 8. We've got a limited amount of time on this planet to do whatever it is you want to do, however you choose to invest your time, energy, money, resources, love, wisdom. So what are you going to choose? Take action now. So, speaking of action, before we wrap this up, I would love to hear one aha that you had. So you can either post it below or submit it with your question. If you do have questions, please continue to submit those as well. I will do my best to answer your questions on the next video, but we have officially completed lesson 3 of Your Dream Extravaganza. We're headed into home stretch, and I hope you're starting to really appreciate how incredibly powerful this gift that you've chosen to give yourself, to love yourself enough to explore how to make your heart's desire come true. So if you found this video useful, share it on Facebook, Twitter, or even just send a friend the URL for this page. If you've just started pursuing your dream, you've rallied the courage, you've mustered up the strength, and you're like, okay, I'm willing to give it a shot, and I'm ready to go for something big and audacious, this will give you the exact track to run on to get your dream accomplished this year, 2019. You can totally make it happen. If you started making your dream happen in the past and then you got stuck, or you started with momentum and then it sort of fizzled out because you hit an obstacle, real or imagined, we're going to discuss the specific steps that you need to amplify all the positive you're doing, right? You got out there, you started making your dream happen. And we're going to talk about where the course corrections, usually very small, tiny adjustments that you can make to get yourself unstuck and making that dream come true this year. This year! You've been sitting on this idea for a decade or more. Now's the time. Make it so. Decide to make your dream come true. Speaking of getting your dream off the ground this year, we've been hearing from a number of people who have questions about Dream Camp, and I would love to see you in Dream Camp. In the next video, we'll talk more about the program and how you can enroll in that video. The way it works is that I will open the class up to the general public on a limited basis. We do this so that we can run smaller classes, sort of similar to like a college class, so that you all start together and you all finish together, because there's huge power in the lessons and the methodology, and there's huge power in going through with your own cohort, or I call it your cabin, right? It's Dream Camp. Going through with your own cabin of dreamers that you can be accountability buddies if you want, that you're sharing your experiences, you're sharing what's working, what's not, so that you all benefit and you all get wiser and you learn from each other's mistakes so that you can make your own fresh new ones, right? But you're smarter as you go about the process of implementing the Make It Happen methodology. So I'll open up registration for a few days and then we'll close it down so that we can create the space to deliver the material to a new class. That's why the next video is going to be all about moving forward. What are you ready to do? How are you implementing the DreamMakers Make It Happen methodology? And what can you do to implement it faster, easier? What are the DreamMaker life hacks, if you will? So if you're interested in moving forward and you want to know more about the program, I'm going to lay out how everything works in the next video. But for now, I want to leave you with this. You absolutely can make your dream come true. In fact, you're the only person who can. To make your dream happen, 3 simple words. Decide. Yes, I'm going to do it. Plan. What do I need to make it happen? What are the steps? What are the things that have been holding me back that I got to drop that baggage? How do I have contingency plans for my contingency plan when life happens and throws me a curveball? And then act. Implement that plan. Be responsive and nimble as life happens. Get creative with your problem solving. You keep moving forward no matter what. Decide, plan, act. You can do it. If I can do it, then you definitely can make your dream come true. Stella, Dwight, the life-transforming impact of pursuing your dream cannot be overstated. It just lights you up. You're grounded. You're more powerful. You have so much more to give at work, at home. You become a role model, and not just a role model, but now you become a mentor that can help guide your daughter, your son, your spouse, your parents, your sister, your brother, your coworkers, your faith leader, the leader of your Girl Scout troop. You can start your postman. You can start being a mentor and helping them make their dream come true too. And pretty soon, before you know it, we got 1 million people lit up making their dreams happen and knowing that one person can make a difference, knowing I have something valuable to contribute. I can share my gifts with the world and have a meaningful impact in one person's life and 1,000 people's lives. Just knowing that you are seen and valued for the impact and contribution you and only you can make, that's worth the cost of admission. It's just that good. And the beauty is you're already doing it. When you think back to when you first signed up for this masterclass, the changes you've already experienced by starting to apply the lesson that you learned from session 2, discerning what are real, what are imagined obstacles, breaking down some of your beliefs and maybe replacing them with new beliefs, naming and claiming your dream, giving yourself permission to dream, right? You've already started to go through some massively powerful changes that really were just small little tweaks in how you approach the world, but they're having huge impacts. You're already starting. You're already on the path. Hopefully you're already starting to see some of the changes and, things sort of get shaken up and loosened up, and it's so exciting. I'm so proud of you. It's amazing. It's just amazing. Love it, love it, love it. Next up, we'll talk about how to take the next step toward making your dream come true. I'm so excited for you and can't wait to see you in the next video.